Amigo, yo rapeo, no me la creo. Lo hago todo muy fácil porque yo veo la gente que no tiene idea de dónde va, a gente que no sabe qué andar, gente que no sabe cómo rapear, pero yo lo hago fácil, amigo. Esto para mí no es nada. Yo nací así, rapeando en la bañera, es como me describí a mí mismo en rapeos pasados, pero la verdad es que tengo un talento innato. Amigo, sos un tarado, pareces un pato, un renacuajo sobre el agua. Estoy tirando pistolas porque no me quedan balas, así que todo lo que hago lo hago porque esto no es una pavada, es algo que parece fácil cuando lo hace esta hada madrina, la que te cuida, la que te tira tiros cuando nieva en la rima. Estoy en la cima, la gente quiere verme en la ruina, pero no tienen idea de a dónde van. Tengo un perro por detrás. Rafi, di hola porque ya no lo verás nunca más. Amigo, esto es lo que pasa cuando tú te quedas en el pasado. Amigo, estás amarrado al costado mientras yo vengo y te hago parecer como un tarado.
So in October 23, 2021, that is the exact date, I finally bought my first camera, and it marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. I had been using my phone for maybe 5 years. I had been using my phone for 5 or 6 years, something like that, to run my YouTube channel, and I had finally upgraded. And yeah, since then, almost every video you've seen has been shot on this camera. This video right now is being shot on this camera. So the Canon M50 is meant to be really good for photography and videography, especially for beginners who don't have a really good budget. But is it really? And most importantly, how does it hold up in 2023, since it's not really a new camera anymore? Okay, so let's talk about the specifications. The camera has a 24.1 megapixel CMOS APS-C sensor, which means that it has a 1.6 crop factor, which is bad for vlogging. If anything that requires a wide angle lens, it's not good. But if you think about it, it's kind of good for wildlife photography or anything where you need to focus on something that's really far away, since it applies that 1.6 crop factor to every lens that you attach to it. It can shoot 10 frames per second photos, and it can shoot 1080p video at 24, 30 or 60 frames per second, or it can shoot 720p at 60 or 120 frames per second. I don't know why I didn't write it down here, but of course it can also shoot in 4K. It is advertised as a 4K camera, which doesn't make sense because the 4K is useless. It applies another crop factor on top of the 1.6 crop factor of the APS-C sensor, which means that, yeah, it's just shite, to be honest with you. So it comes with an LPE12 battery, which ain't the best, obviously, since it's a mirrorless camera. It does everything digitally, which means that it uses more battery, and the battery in itself is not a very big battery. So one of the first things I bought was an extra pair of batteries after buying this camera, and I recommend you should do too. A really big pro for me is that it has a flip LCD screen. It's like the fully swivelable, I don't know if that's a word, a fully swivelable screen that I'm looking at right now. You can probably tell that I'm not looking quite at the center of the lens. I love it. It changes everything, honestly. Not many cameras have it, or at least not many cameras used to have it when I bought this camera, and it's a game changer if you're doing vlogs or shooting YouTube videos or any of it. Very good. Also, another reason why I bought this camera is because it has a microphone jack. So I have a microphone, I have a lapel mic under my hoodie right now. So yeah, that is a real game changer. And also, by the time I bought it, there was not many cheap cameras. That's the hard part, really. The hard part in 2021 was to find a cheap camera that can have good autofocus, which this one has. It has dual pixel autofocus, which is Canon's technology. So as you can see, it follows me around very well. So it's kind of the perfect camera for vlogging, you know? It's very lightweight, it has very good autofocus, it has a swivel screen, and it has a microphone jack, so you can have like better audio quality. You can have better audio quality, you can easily take it with you, and you can see yourself while you're recording, which is... Okay, so let's talk about the really important stuff, which is the real life use of this camera. And let's start with the negatives. First of all, we don't have a flat color profile like many cameras have, which means that we lose a lot of versatility, especially when shooting video, when we want to edit it later, especially if we're shooting in very bright scenes or very dark scenes. It'll be very hard to keep all the information about the brightest and the darkest points. You can put it in a neutral color profile, which is the next best thing, but it's really miles away from what the original thing would be. Only this would really make the camera heaps better and would make it much more plausible for professional video creators. But yeah, you kind of have to learn to work around it, as I have. And then one of the biggest issues, honestly, is that the mount is a little bit outdated. So as I said, it has an EFM mount, which I think Canon doesn't use anymore, like at all. So all the new mirrorless mounts are RF, and if not, the ones for the DSLRs are EF. So what you can do, what I did is I bought a EFM to EF mount, which costed around $150. So yeah, there are ways to work around it, but it's still not the best, and I'm not sure that there are EFM to RF mounts. There might be, I'm just not sure that there are. It does make you question the future-proofness of this camera. About the pros and the cons, it all depends on what's more important to you. Obviously, this camera is not meant for like people with lots of experience, unless it's their secondary camera. It's more for beginners, and for beginners it is effing amazing. You get a small compact camera that is easy to take if you want to do street photography, for example. Or for me, I was always traveling, so I wanted something that doesn't take much place in my backpack. Then you have a camera that has a swivel screen, that has a headphone jack, so that you can do this, so that you can plug it in. If you buy the mount, you can use a lot of lenses. You can use all the EF lenses with it. And for example, now I'm using a nifty 50, which already bumps the quality up a lot. When you're a beginner, it's all about finding these ways to get stuff for cheap. And I think buying a Canon M50 is a good way to start on the way to learn to buy cheap stuff. I'm going absolutely mental, guys. I've been recording videos for the past 3 or 4 hours or something. I'm dying. Also, a small form factor means that it's compatible with smaller gimbals, which might be a bonus, again, especially if you're traveling. And this is specific to the Mark II, and it's, I think, the only difference between the M50 Mark II and the Mark I. You can use it for video calling. So you can use the mini HDMI to plug it into a computer, and you can use it for either streaming or high quality video calling, or if you want to record like a tutorial on the computer, but you want like a good webcam video. So it can do that, which is pretty neat. So yeah, honestly, in 2023, there might be better options out there. You might want to check into the Canon R10, the R8, or some Sony variants. I'm not sure that it is the best recommendation that I could do nowadays, but back in the day it definitely was. 2021 was a good year for the M50. I still love it. I mean, I didn't buy it in 2023, I bought it in 2021. And for 2021, I think it was one of the best purchases I could have done. You can also check, because it costs around $1,000 US, but if you buy it used or refurbished, it'll probably be even more cheap than that. So yeah, it is a really good camera, and especially if you're a vlogger, streamer, content creator, or whatever. It gives you a lot of versatility. It's very good for video recording. It takes good photos. You could buy a point and shoot, which also has its advantages, but you could just like save a little bit more and you could buy a camera like this with a swivel screen, replaceable, like interchangeable lenses, and a jack for the headphones, and also jack for the headphones for the microphones. It's good, you know. If you find it for cheap, I would recommend it. Otherwise, just as I said, research the Canon R10 or the R8 and the Sony variables, and see what works best for you depending on what you want. Also, this camera is not good in low light. I forgot to say that. That's about it, guys. I can't do this anymore. I can't. I'm dying in here. So anyways, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. I am happy that I finished recording for today. And yeah, as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. Give me a like if you liked the video. And as always, comment down below about what do you think about this camera. If you have it, just let me know how has your experience been. For me, it's been very positive again. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.